I hope you're doing well. My name is Jimena Torres, and now I'm going to start with how to be an alien. Okay, first, Chapter 1 A Warning to Beginners. In England, everything is different. You must understand that when people say England, they sometimes mean Great Britain, England, Scotland, and Wales. Sometimes the United Kingdom, England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Sometimes the British Isles, England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and the Republic of Ireland, but never just England. On Sundays in Europe, the poorest person wears his best clothes and the life of the country becomes happy, bright, and colorful. On Sundays in England, the richest people wear their oldest clothes and the country becomes dark and sad. In Europe, nobody talks about the weather. In England, you have to say, nice day, isn't it? About 200 times every day, or people think you're a bit boring. In Europe, you get Sunday newspaper on Monday. In England, a strange country, you get Sunday newspaper on Sunday. On a European bus, the driver uses the bell if he wants to drive on past the bus stop without stopping. In England, you use the bell when you want the bus to stop. In Europe, people like their cats, but in England, they love their cats more than their family. In Europe, people eat good food. In England, people think that good manners at the table are more important than the food you get to eat. The English eat bad food, but they say it tastes good. In Europe, important people speak slowly and clearly. In England, they learn to speak slowly and quickly so you cannot understand them. In Europe, clever people show that they are clever by talking about Aristotle, Horace, and Montaigne. In England, only stupid people try to show how clever they are. The only people who talk about Latin and Greek writers are those who have not read them. In Europe, almost every country, big or small, fights wars to show they are the best. The English fight wars against those people who think they are the best. The English already know which country is really the best. Europeans cry and quickly get angry. Instead of this, the English just laugh quickly at their problems. In Europe, people are either honest with you or they are lie to you. In England, people almost never lie, but they are almost never quite honest with you either. Many Europeans think that life is a game. The English think cricket is a game. Chapter 2 Introducing People. This part of the book tells you how to introduce people to other people. Most importantly, when you introduce strangers. Do not say their names so that the other person is able to hear it. Usually, this is not a problem because nobody can understand your accent. If somebody introduces you to a stranger, there are two important rules to follow. First, if he puts out his hand to shake yours, do not take it. Smile and wait. When he stops trying to shake your hand, try to shake his. Repeat this game all afternoon or evening. Quite possibly, this will be the most amusing part of your afternoon or evening. Second, the introductions are finished and your new friend asks if you are well. How do you do? But do not forget, he does not really want to know. To him, it does not matter if you're well or if you're dying of a terrible illness. Do not answer. Your conversation will be like this. He, how do you do? You, with good health, not sleeping very well, but food hurts a bit. One or two stomach problems. A conversation like this is un-English and unforgivable. When you meet somebody, never say, "Pleased to meet you." English people think this is very rude. And one other thing. Do not call forgetting lawyers, teachers, doctors, dentists, or shopkeepers doctor. Everybody knows that the little word doctor means that you're a Central European. It is not a good thing to be Central European in England, so you don't want to people remember. Chapter 3. The weather. This is the most important subject and the land. In Europe, people say, he is the type of person who talks about the weather, to show that somebody is very boring. In England, the weather is always an interesting, exciting subject, and you must be good at talking about it. Chapter 4. Examples for a conversation. Very good weather. Nice day, isn't it? Isn't it beautiful? The sun. Isn't it wonderful? Yes, wonderful, isn't it? It's so nice and hot. I think it's so nice when it's hot, isn't it? I really love it, don't you? For bad weather. Terrible day, isn't it? Isn't it unpleasant? The rain. I don't like the rain. Just think, a day like this in July. It rains in the morning, then a bit of sun, then rain, rain, rain all day. I remember this same July day in 1936. Yes, I remember too. Or was it 1928? Yes, it was. Or in 1939. Yes, that's right. Now look at the last few sentences of this conversation. You can see a very important rule. You must always agree with other people when you talk about the weather. If it is raining and snowing and the wind is knocking down trees, and someone say, "Nice day, isn't it?" Answer immediately, "Isn't it wonderful?" Learn this conversation with her. You can use them again and again. If you repeat these conversations every day for the rest of your life, it is possible that people will think you are clever, bullied, and amusing. Listen to the weather reports on the radio and you will hear different weather reports for different people. There is always a different report for farmers. For example, you hear, "Tomorrow it will be cloudy and cold. There will be a lot of rain." Then, immediately after this you hear, "Weather report for farmers. It will be bright and warm and there will be a lot of sunshine." Farmers do important work for the country, so they need better weather, you see. Often the radio tells you that it's a nice day, but then you look outside and see that it is raining or snowing. Sometimes the radio says it is rainy day and you see that the sun is shining brightly. This is not because the weather people have made a mistake. It is because they have reported the right weather as they want it to be, but then some troublesome weather from another part of the world moves in across Britain and change the weather picture. If British weather has to mix with Hurricane weather, things are not looking very good. Chapter 5. So, don't wait saying what you mean. Foreign have soul. The English do not have soul. In Europe, you find many people who look sad. This is soul. The worst kind of soul belongs to the Slav people. The Slavs are usually very deep thinkers. They say things like this. Sometimes I am so happy, And sometimes I am so sad. Can you explain why? You cannot explain. Do not try. For Fairfax, they say, I want to be in some other place, not here. Do not say, I like you to be in some other place too. All this is very deep. It is so, just so. But the English have no soul. Instead, they say less than they mean. For example, if a European boy wants to tell a girl that he loves her, he goes down on his knees and tells her she is the sweetest, most beautiful, and wonderful person in the world. She has something in her, something special, and he cannot live one more minute without her. Sometimes, to make all this quite clear, he shoots himself. This happens every day in European countries where people have soul. In England, the boy puts his hand on the girl's shoulder and says quickly, You're all right, you know. If he really loves her, he says, I really quite like you, in fact. If he wants to marry a girl, he says, I say, will you? If he wants to sleep with her, I say, shall we? Chapter 6. Tea. Tea was once a good drink. With lemon and sugar it tasted very pleasant. But then the British decided to put cold milk and no sugar into it. They made it colorless and tasteless. In the hands of the English, tea became an unpleasant drink, like dirty water, but they still call it tea. Tea is the most important drink in Great Britain and Ireland. You must never say, I do not want a cup of tea, or people will think that you are very strange and very forgiving. In an English home, you get a cup of tea at 5 o'clock in the morning when you are still trying to sleep. If your friend brings you a cup of tea and you wake from your sweetest morning sleep, you must not say, I think you are most unkind to wake me up and I like to shut you. You must smile your best 5 o'clock smile and say, Thank you so much. I do love a cup of tea at this time of the morning. When your friend leaves the room, you can throw the tea down the toilet. Then you have a tea for breakfast. You have tea at 11 o'clock in the morning. Then after lunch, then you have a tea at tea time, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then after supper, and again at 11 o'clock at night. You must drink more cups of tea if the weather is hot. If it is cold, if you're tired, if anybody thinks you're tired, if you are afraid, before you go out, if you are out, if you have just returned home, if you want a cup, if you do not want a cup, if you have not had a cup for some time, if you have just had a cup. You must not follow my example. I sleep at 5 o'clock in the morning. I have coffee for breakfast. I drink black coffee again and again during the day. I drink strange and unusual teas with no milk at tea time. I have these funny forgiving ways, and my poor wife, who was once a good English woman, now hasn't too. I'm sorry to say. Chapter 7. Sex. European men and women have sex life. English men and women have hot water bottles. Chapter 8. The language. When I arrived in England, I thought I knew English. After I've been here an hour, I realized I did not understand one word. In my first week, I learned a little of the language, but after 7 years, I knew that I could never use it really well. This is sad, but nobody speaks English perfectly. Remember that those 500 words the ordinary Englishman uses most are not all the words in the language. You can learn another 500 and another 5,000 and another 50,000 words after that, and you will still find another 50,000 you have never heard of. Nobody has heard of them. If you live in England for a long time, you will be very surprised to find that the word nice is not the only adjective in the English language. For the first 3 years, you do not need to learn or use any other adjectives. You can say that the weather is nice, a restaurant is nice, Mr. So is nice, Mr. So and so's clothes are nice. You had a nice time, and all this will be very nice. You must decide about your accent. You will have your Virgin accent, alright, but many people like to mix it with another accent. I knew a Polish Jew who had a strong Jiddisch-Irish accent. People thought that he was very interesting. The easiest way to show that you have a good accent or no Virgin accent is to hold a pipe or cigar in your mouth, to speak through your teeth and finish all your sentences with the question, isn't it? People will not understand you, but they will think that you probably speak very good English. Many foreigners try hard to speak with an Oxford accent. The city of Oxford has a famous university. If you have an Oxford accent, people think that you mix with clever people and that you are very intelligent. But the Oxford accent hurts your throat and is hard to use all the time. Sometimes you can forget to use it. Speak with your Virgin accent, and then where are you? People will laugh at you. The best way to look clever is to use long words, of course. These words are often all Latin and Greek words, which the English language has taken. Many foreigners have learned Latin and Greek in school, and they find it. It is much easier to learn these words than the much shorter English words. These words are usually very long and make you seem very intelligent when you talk to shopkeepers and postmen. But be careful with all these long words. They do not always have the same meaning as they once had in Latin or Greek. When you know all the long words, remember to learn some short ones too. Finally, there are two important things to remember. First, do not forget that it is much easier to write in English than to speak English, because you can write without a Virgin accent. Second, on a bus or in the street, it's better to speak quickly and good German than to show loudly and bad English. Anyway, all this language business is not easy. After 8 years in this country, a very kind woman told me the other day, "You speak with a very good accent, but without any English." Hi, in this part of the video, I'm going to talk about what I learned at this level. So first, in this unit, I learned how to talk about past habits by applying used to into affirmative, negative, and interrogative forms. Also, we use compassions by applying adjectives to be verb forms and the expressions as. Okay, for affirmative example could be I used to go to the cinema every week. For negative example could be I didn't used to like the scary movies. And for interrogative could be did she used to play the violin? Okay, now about Unit 8 and 9. This unit is focused on the present perfect simple and the present perfect continuous. They are used to talk about actions that occur in the past but still continue. The auxiliary have has is applied in both structures, but in the present perfect simple, the verb is an past participle, whereas in the present perfect continuous, we have to use been plus a verb with ing. And about modal verbs, these are used to express necessity, ability, possibility, or permission, like can, must, may, and should. They are followed by a base form, and modal verbs have no conjugation. And we also check vocabulary related to employment. Now, about Unit 10. In this unit, I learned about passive voice, present and past, which has 3 forms: affirmative, negative, and interrogative. About simple present passive, the affirmative sentences are structured with subject plus to be verb form, like am, is, are, plus past participle verb. And every sentence is considered active, but if the emphasis changes, it becomes passive or simple past passive. And the sentences are structured with subject plus was, were, plus past participle. And this unit, it is also focused on the object rather than in the subject of the sentences. It included vocabulary related to materials and adjectives. About Unit 11. In this unit, I learned about phrasal verbs. These are combined verbs that create a new meaning, and we must memorize them. And we also check the second conditional to. It talks about things that are unlikely or impossible to happen. To make sentences, we need the if clause, the verb in past simple for the condition, and will plus a verb in infinitive for the consequence. To finish, Unit 12. Okay. In this unit, I learned about reported speech. This is a grammatical structure used to communicate what someone said without repeating their exact words. It contrasts direct speech, where the speaker's words are repeated exactly, with indirect speech, where the message is paraphrased. And when changing to reported speech, verb tenses, pronouns, and time expressions may change to keep the sentences grammatically correct. Thank you.